If you just graduated high school or college, or if you're in the job market in general and you need to write a resume, but you're not really sure where to begin, you need to watch this video. Hey everybody, I'm Angel Santiago, founder of the mentorship platform WAYAHEAD and your personal mentor. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and turn the bell notification on. Every week, I'll be making videos to help you navigate life, career, and everything in between. So you need a resume, but you're not really sure where to begin, then you're definitely watching the right video. In this video, I'm gonna share with you the 4 steps that I follow to write any resume to help you get the job. So let's get into it. Step number 1, find inspiration. So what we're gonna do in this step is we're gonna look on Google for different resume examples for the job that you're trying to go after, and we're gonna start getting a general idea of what we need to do with our resume. Let me show you what I mean. All right, cool. So here we are in Google. Let's just say that I was interested in going after a project manager position. So I would type project manager resumes. One thing I could do right off the bat is just take a look at some of the resumes that come up in images and just see, is there anything that stands out to me? I can tell you right now, I'm really not a fan of black and white resumes, but we're not really looking at how good or bad the resumes look. Instead, what we're trying to do is see if there's anything that jumps out at us as interesting, right? Anything that we might need to include. This could really be almost anything, right? What type of special skills are people listing on their resumes? What type of certifications are on their resume as well? And what we can do is start trying to understand what it is that our resume needs to include. Here we're comparing 3 different candidates. This is on Job Hero, I believe, and they're comparing 3 different candidates for a project manager position. And looking at this, we can start to understand what the industry standard is going to be for resumes. The other thing that we could do is start leveraging LinkedIn, and this kind of leads into the second point of keywords. Step number 2, keywords. Now that we know what to look for in a resume based on the position that we're going after, we need to start grabbing keywords so that we know exactly what to write in our resume. Let me show you how. If you're not on LinkedIn, you definitely need to create a profile, but don't worry, I'm making another video soon on how to create a LinkedIn profile and actually use it to find a job. But right now, what we're gonna focus on are the keywords. So we looked at project manager position and resume examples and things like that. So what we're gonna do with LinkedIn is we're actually just going to come in and start searching for project manager roles. And what this is gonna allow us to do is see actual open positions right now in real companies where we can start getting an understanding of what they're looking for. And the reason why this is really important is because you really want to tailor your resume to the position that you're going for. So ideally, your resume should be unique for almost every position. If you notice that the job listings are close enough and your resume could serve for both of those roles, I think it's okay. But for the most part, you really should be intentional in the resumes you're sending out and crafting the narrative for the keywords that the job is looking for. So what we can do here is we can actually just start looking through what are some of the things that stand out. Now this could be a really tedious process if you're just going through and you're reading some of these different positions at these amazing companies. Like, who wouldn't want to work at PlayStation, right? I think that it would be really tedious for you to start going through and picking out individual keywords for these roles and how you may or may not be qualified. But what you can do is, let's say we go back up to the top here to project manager. We could actually just grab all of this and we can use a tool that I like called word clouds. So what I like to do with word clouds, honestly, is I just come in here and I paste some text. Then I go back and let's say I want to pick this project manager position from Sony. Then I copy all of this and then I paste some text. I would probably, if I were actually doing this to get the job, I would be a little more intentional on what I'm copying and pasting, but I really just want to show you an example of how you can go about figuring out what keywords need to be in your resume for you to stand out. So if I'm grabbing all of this, I just grabbed keywords from 3 different roles and I pasted it in there, and now I'm going to apply it. So what this does is it creates a word map where we can actually see what words are used the most by the size of the word, so we can start picking things out. And this might not be the best example, but we see some things, obviously things like management, program, and project, that's a little on the nose. We expected those things to be there. But stakeholders, right? Making sure that in your resume, when you start crafting your narrative, you're including something around stakeholder management. There's also work streams, compliance. There are some of these smaller words that are still rather large, which means they're coming up quite a bit in the text that we put there, that we can start thinking about, okay, how how do we start using some of these words? Program, project, team, data, those things are going to be in your resume regardless. How about some of these other one-off words? What narrative can we start writing and crafting around these words to make sure that we stand out? Step 3, write a narrative. So now that we know what keywords to include in our resume, it's time for us to really start telling a story. Let me show you how we do this. So now that we have our keywords, it's time for us to start crafting our narrative. And when I write my resume, I like to use either the STAR method or action, impact, result. But in reality, they really focus on the same thing. The STAR method, you're explaining the situation or task that's involved in your role, the actions you took, and the result. And action, impact, result, this is something that I learned when I was in the military when we were writing our EPRs, or our annual reports. We're looking at the actions that you took, the impact it had on your team or your organization, and the result because of that. And I think that it's really important for us to try to quantify the things that we're doing. Sometimes when we write our resume and our narrative, it's very airy. It doesn't really have any substance behind it, and we're just putting random things. We use words like managed and led way too much. And I think that by changing the focus a little bit and instead trying to craft a story around each bullet is going to be really important for you. So if you go on Google, you can just research the STAR method, and you can see that the top result here is use the STAR method to ace your interview. And companies are using this method to ask you questions, and they're expecting that your response follow the same cadence. So why not also use it in your resume? Step 4, make your resume look good. I personally hate a white and black resume. I know a lot of people live and die by that, but I really can't stand it. So for our example today, I'm gonna use Canva.com to help make your resume stand out. So let me show you how you use this. So now that you've written your narrative and you're really telling a story as to why you're the best candidate, it's time to make your resume look good. I personally hate white and black resumes, and I've actually gotten quite a few compliments on adding color to my resume, because the reality is that there are actual people on the other end of your resume reading that and figuring out whether or not you're the right person for the job. And it's helped me stand out in the past. Now, this isn't gonna be the case in every role. I don't hit me up in the comments saying this will never work. For my industry, it has to be white. I get it, right? But for a lot of jobs out there, this is a really easy thing that you can do to stand out a little bit. The tool that I love to use here when I'm actually making my resume is Canva.com. So let's check it out. If you go on Canva.com, you could actually just type resume in their own internal search function, and it brings up a bunch of different templates. So if you start from a blank template, this will just bring up a regular letter size template that you can start filling out. But what you can actually see is all of the pre-made examples on the left-hand side here. So you can just start grabbing an example. Here's an example of a resume with a person's picture. You can, depending on the type of resume that you're looking for, this is a white and black resume, but it's not really following the same format that we've all grown tired of. Some more colorful infographic type resumes, and this is really just a chance for you to do something a little bit different. Again, this isn't gonna work for every role, but if you have an opportunity, if you think that you might be able to add some color to your resume and really make it stand out, Canva.com is a great tool. So all you would do, you would edit this like any other document. You would come up here, you would type your name. My name is Angel Santiago, so you would type your name, you would type, you would have some type of headline or a tagline, and you would start filling these things out. Now, another really important part of crafting your resume is making sure that all of the relevant sections are in there. And when it comes to relevant sections, we can all agree that we need professional experience, we need our education, we need our contact information, but then, it's a toss-up depending on who you ask on what other sections need to be included. I personally like to include professional skills. So what are some of the things that are specific to the role that you're going after? So if these are skills like budget analysis or cost analysis, whatever it may be, I think that it's really important for you to include a section that's highlighting those things that are specific to the industry and the job that you're going after. I think another section to include here, I personally don't include a reference section. I really haven't found much use for it professionally, but another section, let's see if another template has it. Another section that we might want to include are, see, this person included languages spoken. I think depending on the role, you might want to include that. But the other section that I want to highlight here is going to be your certifications. Depending on the job that you're going after, certifications are going to be extremely important. In the example that we've been using for project managers, Your project manager professional certification, your PMP, is going to be very important for you to get. It's an industry standard. So making sure that you have a section that highlights that, that's kind of separate from your formal education, is going to be really important to helping you stand out. So again, just play around with canva.com, see what you like, see what you don't like. You might be able to use a template here that really stands out to you. And then when you're ready to actually use it, what you would do is you would just click the download button, and you could actually just do PDF print, and it would save this locally as a PDF on your computer. There you have it, the 4 steps you need to follow to make the perfect resume. Now, I did want to include a bonus section here with some of the frequently asked questions that I get whenever I help people write a resume. Probably the biggest question that I get is, how long should my resume be? My answer is 1 page. I think that with 1 page, you're able to get everything out in a clear, focused way without really getting caught up in what to say. If you've been in the industry for like 20, 30 years and you're not really sure how to fit that in 1 page, reach out to me. I'd love to help you. In some cases, depending on the industry, you could go up as far as 2, but I've helped some people who have 5, 6 page resumes, and I'm not really sure why. The second question that I get the most is around social media, whether or not to make it private. I think that if you don't want your employer to find it, you definitely shouldn't have it out on social media, because chances are they're going to find it. Set everything you can to private except for your LinkedIn, which is non-negotiable. You should definitely make that public. You want people to be able to find that. And the last question that I really get asked a lot is, do I need a website? While it's not necessary for you to have a website, I definitely encourage it. I think that crafting that personal brand early on in your career is going to be really beneficial for you down the line, and having a website or a professional portfolio could definitely serve to your benefit. If this video helped you out, please hit the subscribe button and turn the bell notification on. Every week, I'm dropping videos to help you navigate life, career, and everything in between.